why Jannik Sinner is secretly the funniest guy on the ATP Tour. Let's be real for a second. We watch tennis for the skill, the oh my goodness, unbelievable moments, the drama, the oh no gasps, the rivalries that keep us glued to our screens at 3 a.m. But every now and then, we tune in for something completely different, the accidental comedy gold that only live sports can deliver. And folks, we're here to tell you that Jannik Sinner might be leading the ATP Tour not just in the rankings, but also in laugh-out-loud, jaw-dropping, did that really just happen moments. The man is statistically the most lethal player on the planet right now, and somehow he's also a walking blooper reel. What makes Sinner so funny is that he isn't trying to be funny. There's no Nick Kyrgios theatrics, no Medvedev meltdowns, no Kyrgios-style mic drops. Sinner just exists in his calm, polite, slightly awkward Italian way, and the universe keeps tossing absurd situations at him. A ball goes flying into his physio's most sensitive zone. A fly invades the court. A sneeze interrupts his serve. A press question accidentally turns into a love confession to Carlos Alcaraz. Every time, Sinner reacts with that signature half smile that says, "I cannot believe my life right now." And we lose it every single time. The internet has caught on. The memes are unstoppable. The Carota boys, yes, Italian fans dressed as actual carrots, now travel the globe with him. Maria Sharapova has dragged him into a viral reindeer hat dance throwback. Darren Cahill is out here filming his coach's worst golf swings in human history. Even his own teammates can't resist pulling pranks on him in the middle of presidential ceremonies. The man cannot escape, and honestly, we don't want him to. So strap in, because this is the official Jannik Sinner Comedy Collection, 10 unforgettable moments where the world #1 accidentally became the funniest guy in tennis. Before we dive in, do us a quick favor. If you love behind-the-scenes tennis chaos, hot takes, and storylines you won't find anywhere else, hit that subscribe button and join the Tennis Insider family. It's free, it's fun, and it makes sure you never miss a viral Sinner moment ever again. Miami Mayhem, the 90 miles per hour hit that no physio should ever take. Picture the scene. It's the heat of the Miami Open. The hard court is shimmering. Jannik Sinner is locked into a tense match against Aussie battler Chris O'Connell. The crowd is buzzing, the rallies are flying, and everyone in the stadium is focused on the ball. Everyone, that is, except for one man who probably wishes he had been paying just a little more attention. Sinner's beloved physio, Giacomo Naldi. Giacomo wasn't even involved in the point. He was sitting front row, minding his own business, possibly thinking about lunch, possibly thinking about Sinner's left shoulder rotation. And then it happened. Bam! Testicle trauma at 90 miles per hour. Sinner clipped a ball with the frame of his racket, and instead of going harmlessly out of bounds, the ball took the most unfortunate trajectory in the history of tennis. It rocketed straight into Giacomo's lap with surgical precision. Pure, unfiltered chaos. The crowd let out that universal ooh of secondhand pain that only ever happens when a man takes a hit somewhere very specific. Giacomo doubled over. Sinner immediately sprinted across the court, not in a panic, not with concern, but with a giant, badly suppressed grin plastered across his face. He tried so hard to look professional. He failed so badly. In the post-match interview, Sinner could barely keep a straight face talking about it. And with the frame, the ball went straight to him in a really important point of our human being, he said, chuckling like a guilty schoolboy. The phrase, really important point of our human being, instantly became a meme. Tennis Twitter, Italian Twitter, anatomy professor Twitter, everyone ran with it. The clip went viral overnight, racking up millions of views. People who had never watched a tennis match in their lives suddenly knew the name Jannik Sinner. The kicker is that Giacomo, who had to recover and continue working with Sinner the very next day, became an overnight celebrity for taking one of the gnarliest accidental hits in ATP history. Sinner reportedly apologized properly later, in private, but the damage to the highlight reel was done. The lesson here is simple. If you're going to be Jannik Sinner's physio, sit at least 3 rows back, wear protective gear, and never, ever assume you're safe just because you're not on the court. The ball finds who it wants to find. The Baywatch bombshell. Sinner roasts his own physique on live TV. Fast forward to the 2024 Australian Open. Sinner has just cruised through a comfortable second-round win and settled into the courtside interview with the easy confidence of a man who knows he's playing the best tennis of his life. The conversation starts polite, professional, the usual tennis interview script. Then, without warning, things go sideways in the funniest possible way. Sinner casually mentions his off-season fitness work, dropping a line that would haunt the highlight reels for months. I made also a little bit of gym. Even if you can't see it, I'm skinny, but it's okay. The crowd laughed, the interviewer laughed, Sinner laughed at himself. And in that moment, we got peak Jannik, the kid who is literally one of the best athletes on the planet, openly admitting that he still looks like a string bean on the beach. Most pros either humble brag about their training or refuse to discuss their bodies altogether. Sinner just shrugged and roasted himself live on camera. That's a level of self-awareness you rarely see at the top of any sport, and it's a huge part of why fans connect with him so deeply. Then came the Baywatch bombshell. The interviewer, sensing the moment, pushed it further and asked Sinner about his actual weight. Bold move on live television. Sinner, ever the diplomat, played it cool. It's a secret, guys. Smart answer. But then the interviewer added, well, it must be all muscle. And here's where Sinner delivered the line that broke the internet. He smirked, paused for comedic timing, and replied, of course, all muscle. Yes, unfortunately not, but it's okay. The interviewer doubled down with the now legendary follow-up. Of course you dream to have the Baywatch physicality, but it's okay. The whole stadium erupted. Sinner, the world's most lethal hardcourt assassin, openly admitting that he would kinda like to have a Baywatch body, but has accepted that it's never happening, was the most relatable thing any pro athlete has ever said. Tennis Twitter immediately ran with it. Memes of Sinner photoshopped in red lifeguard shorts flooded timelines. The Baywatch physicality line entered the official Sinner lore. The lesson? You can be the best player in the world and still admit you skipped chess day. Sinner's secret weapon isn't just his forehand, it's his complete refusal to take himself too seriously off the court. The sneeze heard round the stadium. How Sinner aced a sneeze attack. Now let's teleport over to the Halle Open, where Sinner found himself in a tight pressure cooker match against Zhang Zhizhen. The third set is on the line. Every point matters. Sinner steps up to serve. Eyes locked on the back of the court. Ball in his left hand, racket loose in the right. The whole stadium leans in. The cameras zoom in. Silence. He starts the service motion. The ball goes up. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, someone in the crowd unleashes a sneeze that sounds like they have been physically holding it in for 3 years. Honestly, it might be the loudest sneeze ever captured by professional tennis broadcast equipment. Sinner freezes mid-toss. The ball hangs in the air for a split second longer than it should. Zhang, on the other side of the net, immediately starts grinning and trying not to laugh. The umpire bites the inside of his cheek. The crowd erupts in chuckles. You can see the moment Sinner mentally processes what just happened. That wasn't a phone. That wasn't a kid. That wasn't a stray noise. That was a full-body thunderclap of a sneeze right at the worst possible second. Most players would have been visibly annoyed. Some would have asked the umpire to do something. Kyrgios would have started a fight. But Sinner just smiled. He caught the ball, took a calm breath, reset his rhythm, and walked back to the baseline like a monk getting ready to meditate. The whole stadium held its breath, waiting to see if he could refocus. He bounced the ball twice, tossed it again, and then absolutely smoked an ace down the tee at speeds that probably broke the speed gun. The crowd exploded. The sneezing fan, somewhere out there in the audience, had unwittingly contributed to one of the most badass moments of Sinner's season. That's the thing about Jannik. He doesn't just survive distractions, he weaponizes them. Where most athletes get rattled, he uses the disruption to focus harder. It's the same emotional flatline that Paul Annacone and Darren Cahill keep talking about, the unshakable composure that lets him operate at his highest level when everyone else would crack. So, next time you see someone sneeze in the middle of a Sinner serve, just relax. The Italian's already turning that sneeze into an ace. The fallen fly, Sinner's bizarre bug rescue at the Australian Open. If you thought the sneeze story was weird, buckle up, because we're about to talk about the strangest interruption Sinner has ever faced in a Grand Slam. During a high-stakes match at the Australian Open, Sinner was just about to serve when a sudden movement near the baseline caught his eye. Now, normally when something stops a tennis player mid-service, it's a rolling ball from the next court, a stray shoe, maybe a phone, or in extreme cases, a small child who has wandered onto the court. Standard tennis chaos. But this time, the disruption was something far more dramatic. A giant, prehistoric-looking fly. Sinner spotted the fly mid-toss. His eyes widened. His foot reflexively jumped backward like he had just stepped on lava. For a man who calmly absorbs 130 miles per hour forehands from Daniil Medvedev, the world's #1 tennis player was clearly not built to share a court with a flying insect, roughly the size of a small bird. The crowd noticed and started laughing. Sinner laughed at himself. The umpire definitely smirked. The whole stadium leaned forward to see what was about to happen next, because nobody knew the protocol for world #1 versus giant Australian fly. What happened next was peak Sinner. Instead of swatting the fly, instead of asking a ball kid to handle it, instead of just kicking it off the court, Sinner walked over slowly, bent down, and picked the motionless fly up by the wing. Yes, the wing. Like a fallen soldier being recovered from the battlefield. He held it gently, walked it carefully to the side of the court, and respectfully handed it off to a ball kid as if to say, "Here, my friend, please give him a proper send-off." The ball kid, looking absolutely bewildered, accepted the dead fly with the seriousness of a state funeral. The internet naturally lost its mind. Within hours, the clip was everywhere. People started joking that Sinner was the unofficial wildlife conservation officer of the ATP. Memes appeared with the fly photoshopped into a tiny coffin. Italian fans declared him a national treasure for his rispetto per la natura. It was bizarre, it was tender, it was completely unnecessary, and it was 100% Jannik Sinner. The man is so polite that even an insect gets dignity. Honestly, if there's a heaven for flies, that one definitely got upgraded straight to first class. The Reindeer hat revenge, when Maria Sharapova exposed him post-Wimbledon. Just when Sinner thought his triumphant Wimbledon victory tour would be filled with elegant photos, classy quotes, and sophisticated celebrations, the universe sent in Maria Sharapova to remind him that the internet never forgets. Hours after Sinner lifted the trophy at the All England Club, Maria casually crashed the entire celebration digitally by reposting a vintage video that absolutely no one needed to see ever again. The clip? Maria and a baby-faced Jannik Sinner, both wearing reindeer hats, dancing awkwardly to holiday music like two awkward cousins at a family Christmas party. Her caption was the cherry on top. "I knew that one day you'll regret this." Brutal, iconic, absolutely zero mercy from a 5-time Grand Slam champion. The moment the post went live, Sinner's mentions exploded. Fans dug up the clip, slowed it down, freeze-framed the worst angles, and turned poor Jannik's reindeer dance into reaction gifs that would haunt him for the rest of his career. The Italian press lost it, tennis media lost it. Sharapova herself was clearly enjoying every second of the public roast. What makes this moment so funny is the contrast. 1 minute, Sinner is hoisting the most prestigious trophy in tennis, looking like a Grand Slam king at the height of his powers. The next minute, he's a lanky teenager bopping around in a reindeer headband with one of the legends of the game, looking like he doesn't quite know what his arms are doing. The duality of Jannik Sinner, assassin on court, awkward Christmas elf off court, has never been more perfectly captured. The best part is how Sinner handled it. He didn't get embarrassed publicly. He didn't ask Maria to take it down. He didn't pretend it didn't exist. He just rolled with it, the way he rolls with everything. There's a quiet wisdom in not trying to control your own internet narrative when you're a world-famous athlete. The reindeer hat clip will live forever. Future generations of tennis fans will discover it. New fans who Google Jannik Sinner Wimbledon will find his trophy lift on one tab and his dance moves on the next. That's the price of being one of the most popular players in the sport. Your past will always catch up to you, especially when one of your old dance partners is Maria freaking Sharapova. Iconic legend behavior on both ends. The presidential palace giggle when his Davis Cup teammates broke him. Now imagine this scene. Italy has just won the Davis Cup. National pride is at an all-time high. Team captain Filippo Volandri is beaming. The squad has been invited to the presidential palace in Rome, the actual presidential palace where actual heads of state make actual decisions about the country. It's an incredibly formal setting. Marble columns, gilded ceilings, national flags, members of the press. The president of Italy himself is right there.
The energy is solemn, dignified, historic. Sinner steps up to the microphone to deliver a serious, moving thank you speech to the nation's highest office. And then he starts laughing in front of the president of Italy in a presidential palace during an official state ceremony. Why? Because Matteo Arnaldi and Lorenzo Sonego, his teammates and apparent undercover comedians, were sitting in the front row pulling faces at him. Just absolute schoolboy chaos. Crossed eyes, puffed cheeks, exaggerated kissy faces, the works. Sinner, the most composed player on the ATP Tour, the man who can ace through a sneeze attack and rescue a fly without flinching, was completely undone by his teammates acting like middle schoolers in the most formal room in Italy. He told the story afterwards, still grinning. "Senior president, I had to talk in front of the president and I started to laugh." The Italian press immediately dubbed it the most relatable diplomatic incident in modern history. The clip of Sinner trying desperately to hold it together, biting his lip, looking down, looking away, looking anywhere but at his teammates, became an instant classic. You could see him fighting it with everything he had. You could see Arnaldi and Sonego getting absolutely no remorse for being the cause of it. This is what makes Sinner so likable. He's the world #1, the country's biggest sporting hero, standing in front of the Italian president with the entire nation watching, and he still gets giggles when his friends pull faces. There's no fake gravitas, no performative seriousness, no "I'm too important for this." He's just a 23-year-old Italian kid who happens to be incredible at tennis, surrounded by his idiot best friends, trying not to lose it on national television. Honestly, if anything, it made the whole nation love him even more. Italy had a Davis Cup champion who was also human. What a combination. Forza Luigi, the French Open outfit that broke the internet. Let's head to Paris, where Sinner showed up at the French Open ready to terrorize opponents on clay in a brand new outfit. Bright green shirt, bold blue shorts, sleek silhouette, confident swagger. The kind of kit that designers spend months developing to make their athlete look powerful and modern. Sinner walked onto the court looking like he meant business, a clay court warrior in fresh threads, ready to write a new chapter at Roland Garros. And then the internet did what the internet does best. It saw the outfit, processed it for approximately 2.3 seconds, and immediately decided that Jannik Sinner looked exactly like Luigi from Super Mario Bros. Within hours, the memes had exploded into a full-blown global phenomenon. Photoshops of Sinner with Luigi's iconic green hat appeared everywhere. Side-by-side comparisons flooded Twitter. Fans started yelling, "It's a me, Sinner Rio," in the comments of every post. Italian tennis fans had a field day, leaning fully into the Mario Brothers cinematic universe with fan art, reels, and even gameplay edits where Luigi was literally swapped with Sinner, crushing forehands across Princess Peach's castle. The reach was insane. Even non-tennis fans were sharing the meme. Then his coach Darren Cahill himself joined the joke. The Aussie posted Forza Luigi on social media, basically "Let's go Luigi," and the entire fan base officially adopted the nickname. Just like that, Sinner was no longer the world number one. He was the world's most dangerous Italian plumber, and honestly, he earned it. Sinner's reaction to all of this was, of course, perfect. He could have been annoyed, he could have brushed it off. Instead, he leaned all the way in. It's nice, you know?
We need to see the funny part sometimes, he said in an interview, smiling that signature little half smile. He even joked, "Yes, I look like a plumber, and I'm earning it." The man took the most viral roast of his career and turned it into a marketing moment. He added that it's nice to change things up, because otherwise it gets too boring. Translation: I see your meme. I accept your meme. I will now beat your favorite player while dressed as Luigi. That's the magic. Sinner's secret superpower isn't just his backhand, it's his ability to laugh at himself while also drop-kicking the entire ATP Tour into next week. Forza Luigi forever. The Carota boys, the golf swing, and the bromance with Alcaraz. Okay, we need to talk about the actual stars of the Sinner show, the Carota boys. If you don't know them yet, prepare to fall in love. They are a group of Italian fans who follow Sinner around the world dressed as full-body, head-to-toe carrots. Yes, carrots. Bright orange costumes, leafy green tops, no shame whatsoever. 100% commitment. They finally made their Australian Open debut this year, and Sinner himself couldn't believe what he was seeing. "They are more famous than I am, to be honest," he laughed. He's not even wrong. The Carota boys have their own social media following, their own merchandise, and probably their own agent at this point. They reunited with Sinner in Turin last year, right before his biggest ATP Finals run, and Jannik was visibly moved. It's great to have this dedicated fan club, to be honest, and it's growing, so I'm happy for them. Translation: my super fans are vegetables, and I love them. There's something perfectly Italian about the whole thing. A country that gave the world Caesar, the Renaissance, and Ferraris also gave us 4 grown men in carrot suits screaming at tennis matches. Italy is undefeated. Then we have to talk about the off-season golf incident. During the 2024 break, Sinner stepped onto a driving range to try a casual round of golf. Coach Darren Cahill was filming. The vibes were chill. Sinner picked up the club like he knew what he was doing. Confident grip, decent stance, looking like an athlete trying out a new sport. And then he swung. Pure, unfiltered chaos. The ball went somewhere it absolutely was not supposed to go. The form completely fell apart. Even Sinner himself looked genuinely stunned that his hand-eye coordination just betrayed him. The video went viral instantly. Tennis fans realized their world number one would lose to a 14-year-old at a country club in 5 seconds flat. And finally, the iconic Sin Cara's moment. After beating Carlos Alcaraz at the Six Kings Slam final, Sinner grabbed the mic and confidently said, "I wake up in the morning trying to understand the ways how to beat him." The interviewer immediately replied, "Wait, did you just say you wake up every day thinking about him?" Sinner froze. Reality hit. The bromance vibes hit. He paused, brain rebooting, and stammered, "Well, no, I mean, it would be strange. No, in one way, so..." Carlos cackling, crowd dying, internet shipping hashtag Sincaris forever. Brother snitching, blank face autopilot, and one final goodbye. Let's wrap up with two of the most unintentionally funny moments from the entire Sinner cinematic universe. First, the family snitching incident. Standing on stage thanking his team, Sinner suddenly dropped a hilarious truth bomb about his big brother Mark. While Jannik was out there grinding for national glory at the Davis Cup, big bro Mark was apparently in the stands of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, probably munching on paninis and watching cars zoom around the track. The best part? Sinner snitched on his own brother with a smile, full tattletale energy, in front of an entire stadium.
He even followed it up with the line, "Special thanks to my brother, because there is no Formula One race this weekend. It's why he is here." The crowd lost it. Mark probably wanted the ground to swallow him. Sinner was beaming. Sibling love runs deep, but public roasting runs deeper. And then we have the Italian Open Autopilot moment. Sinner was locked in a brutal late-night grind fest against Alexander Shevchenko. The match dragged on and on. Finally, in the third set, Sinner served it out. Ace, game, set, match. The crowd erupted. Sinner, completely blank face, zero reaction, calmly walked back to the baseline, ready to play another game. Just casually picking up his towel, getting ready to receive serve. Fully on autopilot. The umpire was confused. The opponents were confused. The crowd was howling. Sinner had literally just won the match, and his brain was still in two more games to go mode. In the post-match interview, he laughed and admitted, "I thought it was 5-1, but yeah, it's better that I won already. I reacted very well, and I'm trying to take all the positives, you know? Obviously, I won the match, so..." Iconic. Only Sinner could win a tournament match and forget that he won it. That's the level of focus we're dealing with. His brain is so locked in on the next point that he forgets there isn't one. That's the thing about Jannik Sinner. He's the most lethal player on the planet, and he's also the most accidentally hilarious. From flying flies to fake bromances, from Luigi memes to carrot fan clubs, he is a one-man comedy tour wrapped inside a Grand Slam champion. If you love this collection and want more behind-the-scenes tennis chaos, hit subscribe and ring the bell on Tennis Insider. We live for the funny side of tennis just as much as you do. See you next video.